Good morning, everybody. Welcome to FAFSA Completion Initiative training. This is all about the FAFSA Completion Initiative, the tools that it has for you, how to get registered, and how you can use these tools and data to help students. My name is Jeff. I'm the training manager at HESC, and we're going to take you through this training. During the training, I'm hoping to answer all of your questions regarding the FAFSA Completion Initiative. If for some reason I'm not able to, or I missed something, you can definitely open that question and answer panel. So under your toolbar, there's a thing that says Q&A with like two comic book bubbles. You can click that over the Q&A panel and put any questions you have there. The chat is also open for questions. I just ask that you do it in the Q&A panel because it's easier for me to compile those questions and add them to our frequently asked question panel of the FAFSA Ready training page. All right. So let's get going with the FAFSA Completion Initiative. So why do we have this initiative? What is this all about? Why do we have this training? Most of you know that this past year, Governor Hochul enacted the FAFSA requirement, that the FAFSA mandate, where all seniors have to do one of two things. They have to either say that they completed the application, the FAFSA application, or the DREAM Act application for those students that aren't eligible. So for those of you that don't know, FAFSA has citizenship requirements. So if a student is not a U.S. citizen or eligible non-citizen, that's like a permanent resident, they're not eligible for Title IV aid and cannot fill out the FAFSA. So we have an application in New York State called the DREAM Act, where some of these students who are not a citizen or not an eligible non-citizen can fill out the DREAM Act application and still be eligible for state aid. So these students have to either complete that the FAFSA, or if they're not eligible for FAFSA, to complete the DREAM Act application. Okay, we have a separate training on that whole application in our TAP module if you're interested in that. So they have to either sign that or complete a waiver indicating that the parents or the guardian of that student understand what the FAFSA and the DREAM Act have, what they are, what they can provide for the student, and then have chosen not to file that. Now, the current guidance is if you are a school that has a student that has completed that waiver, that you guys store and house that however you see fit. There's no guidance yet on how to store or how they're going to get those waivers or what they're looking for with that. Okay. So a couple other requirements for the mandate, right? That's the student that to complete though one of those two things. Now, for school districts and schools, they have to find a way to notify high school seniors of these state-sponsored scholarships, the financial aid, and assistance available at least 2 times a year. Now, some schools and school districts have been doing that or are doing that right now. If you're one of those and you have some great events that you've been running that have helped with that, throw it in the chat and help each other out with that process. HESC also has a bunch of opportunities for you guys to find out what state is available and what kind of assistance students can get. And you can find that on our HESC events page. All right. School districts must also provide referrals for support or assistance to complete the FAFSA. I read this portion of the mandate because for me, it tells us that we understand and recognize the weight and the responsibility of high school counselors today. There's a lot that's on your plate already. And with this mandate, yes, we want to help students. We also want to recognize what's going on with the guidance counselors. So HES created FAFSA Ready training really in response to this mandate because we recognize that you guys have a lot on your plate. You guys don't know everything there is to know about FAFSA or TAP. And we don't want you guys to have to wear that burden alone. So we want you to refer them to us, right? We want you to refer them to our events. And we have FAFSA Ready trained to help train you if you're willing to help and able to help students with the FAFSA and TAB. All right. So those referrals and for support or assistance, we have opportunities for you to send them to us, and I'll share those opportunities with you at the end of the presentation. And then another one of these requirements for the FAFSA mandate is that on or after July 1st, 2025, each school or district must annually report the data for all seniors. Now, what data are they asking for? They're asking for the total number of students who have completed the FAFSA or the DREAM Act, the number of students who completed the waiver, and the total number of seniors enrolled, right? So those are the three numbers of data that we're looking for right now in the reporting. During the year, the department will provide some more details on how that reporting will happen. We still don't know yet how that reporting is going to happen. Once we get more information, we will relay that to you here as well. But as far as we know, there's no other additional information as far as how that reporting is going to go. If you're interested in seeing the copy of the waiver, if you missed that when it went out, if you're interested in seeing the actual mandate as it rolled out, the memo, or there's a frequently asked questions panel that state that has. The link is there. If you go to FAFSA Ready Training, and you go into our link there, there's a copy of our presentation as it is now that you can download, and all these links are live in that copy. So if you're looking for links or don't know where to go, you can go to FAFSA Ready Training, head to the FAFSA Completion Initiative module, download this training presentation, and then be able to access all these links as they are in the presentation. All right. So that's all we know about the FAFSA mandate right now. Once again, as it's updated, as they give information about reporting, we'll add that to the presentation and send some information out to you guys about that. Now, the FAFSA Completion Initiative is a way that is going to help you complete this mandate by giving you data about your students. This completion initiative, this web interface, allows you to access and distribute data about your students' financial aid progress, where they are in the FAFSA, where they are in the TAP. So today we're going to talk about that process, how your school gets started, how you gain access, what information you can get, and then how that information helps you guide students in the process, right? So this is the information, data access security agreement. We're going to talk about that. Chief authorizing official, who that is, why that's important, why you got to have one, and if you don't have one, what to do about it. The different levels of access, and then establishing some user accounts. So we're going to start with the data access and security agreement because that's the first thing that you need. You got to have one of these agreements, either your school or school district. Now, this agreement is between HESC and that school or school district, right? We agree to provide you the information that you need on your student's financial aid progress, okay? The completion status, the submission status, when it's been processed, things like that. What we ask for in exchange in this agreement is that you give your best efforts to assist the students in completing the FAFSA or TAP. Once again, recognize you're not experts. That's why we have this training program. If you haven't yet, go ahead and get logged into a live FAFSA or TAP training event where I'll walk through everything with you, start to finish, all the mishaps that happen, all the common mistakes. We'll talk about it in those trainings. So you'll be versed in what students mess up and what things to do to help process their application smoothly. All right. Now, these agreements are specific to school type, right? So charter schools, public schools, private schools all have a different type of agreement. So when you go to our site and try to download the access and security agreement, make sure you're downloading the right one. Once again, that join the initiative page right there in that link will send you to our FAFSA completion initiative page where you can see if your school is signed up, access the data access security agreements, and find out more information about that. From our New York City schools, so New York City public schools, you cannot send it to us, right? So on the site, it tells you that you have to have your school district or school send that agreement to us. New York City Public Schools, your school cannot do that on your own. You have to go to Kristen Harris's office at the New York State Department of Education to sign up for that agreement. Okay, they will work with you to get that agreement sent into HESC. Okay, so you really have to connect with them. You can't do it on your own. Now, once HESC receives that agreement, or this is in conjunction with our legal team, they will go through it, make sure all the T's are crossed and the I's are dotted and everything's how it should be. And then they will send out forms to designate the school district or school's chief authorizing official. This is a really important role, right? So you'll do your part, send us the access and security agreement, and we'll send you some forms to figure out who your chief authorizing official is. Now, this is a really important role. This person is in charge of the accounts of that school or school district. So all the people, all the counselors, all the teachers, all the district office officials that are going to be part of that FAFSA completion initiative for that school or school district, this person is responsible for signing them up, getting them account access, and managing their account. Okay, so should they leave your district, they're going to be in charge of canceling that account or withdrawing their authorizations. Or if somebody's coming in, they're going to be in charge of getting their account set up and getting them access to the FAFSA completion initiative. Right, so it's really important. You can have more than one, and we suggest you have more than one. A CAO can have access to more than one high school. So, for instance, if a CIO is in a school district office, right, they can have access to multiple schools and assign levels of access for each one of those schools. Or, right, for maybe some private schools or public schools, but there's only one high school, a high school can have its own chief authorizing official that's designated to work with that school and set up accounts for that school, but it's gonna be that school only. You'll see some other levels of access there, and we'll talk about those access levels and what they could do a little bit later on. Like I said, you have more than one. There's no specific title, so it does not have to be a guidance counselor that is the CAO. It could be a principal, vice principal, a school administrator of some sort. Could be a guidance counselor. Could be a teacher. Based on what your school needs and how your school operates, they're going to determine who should be that chief authorizing official. I will say that this is a web-based program, right? So this is a web interface. So please keep in mind the technical abilities of those around you and what they may or may not be able to handle when it comes to technology and running reports through the system or managing accounts. Okay. Now, if you do not know who your CAO is right now, that is okay. Okay, there is an email address that you can contact that will tell you some information about that, right? So they'll give you information about maybe who your CAO is, if there is one. They'll may give you some information on if you have a data access and security agreement already. All right, so I'm gonna put that email in the chat right now. Somebody spell check that too. Faster completion initiative. Um, at HESC.ny.gov. That connects to our legal team that runs the FAFSA completion initiative. They'll be able to answer those questions about, hey, can is this person a CAO? Who's our CAO? Most likely, if you do not know who your CAO is, you don't have one. Okay, so they may have left years ago. You may not have realized it, or you may not have signed up yet and don't have one. But they'll give you some information. They'll make sure that your data access and security agreement is up to date. You don't need to add a new one if somebody's gone from that district office or from that school. And they're also able to help out to help you figure out who should have access from your school. So they could answer a lot of your questions for you as well. All right. So let's move on. So after you fill out the form about who should be that CAO, you're gonna send that form to us. Right. So the school or school district will designate the CAO, send that information to HESC, and then our account management team will go through and create an account for that chief authorizing official. Right. When we do that, we're gonna send them an email to establish their account. When they get the email, they have to click the link to establish that new password, establish that account within a 24-hour period. Okay, so make sure that they're at work when that's happening, not during summer vacation or something like that. Make sure they're able to access that within 24 hours. Now, when you set your password, if you're that CAO, we have password rules just like anything else. 8 characters, can't be the same as yours or ID, must contain one letter, things like that, much like any other password for secure sites today. They'll have to enter that new password and then enter some more information about themselves. So they have to enter the terms and conditions, right? Make sure they understand this is personally identifiable information. This is really important information for the student, right? So they have to make sure they keep it confidential as far as who they give it out to. Okay. They can get decline or accept. If they decline, they won't be have access to it. They don't need to enter some registration information, the last four of their social, date of birth, middle name, and some security questions. These are questions that are used and data that's used just in case if they have to reset their password and contact account management, then they'll be able to identify them through these questions and through this information on the registration information page. Also entering their address and phone numbers that they have. All right. They'll be able to review the information after that. And then once they review the information, they can submit that application. Once they submit it, it's going to be successfully completed, and they'll be able to go on and establish other users. Okay, so the chief authorizing official, once again, once we get that set, that person is pretty autonomous. They can do what they have to do as far as establishing accounts, bringing people in, adding new people, and then start to run reports. Okay, so this is the big piece. Once we get this done, your school can start to move at their own pace and not have to wait for HESC to do stuff for them. So what other user levels are there, right? What other levels of access are there? Aside from the chief authorizing official, who really manages all the accounts, um, there's an authorizing official. Now, these authorizing officials can designate additional users, right? And they can only designate other users that are going to be report only users. We'll talk about that in a little bit, right? So they cannot designate other authorizing officials and they cannot designate chief authorizing officials, right? So only chief authorizing officials can designate authorizing officials or report only users. Okay. Um, Authorizing officials can be used to add other report only users and verify user accounts. Now, you can have more than one. Once again, I suggest having more than one. You never know when somebody's gonna get injured on the job or outside the job. Somebody's gonna retire, a new job comes along, they move on to a different district. So you want to make sure that you have more than one of these levels of access because things happen. You don't want to wait for somebody to get back from a month of leave before they can add new users or make updates to people's accounts. Okay. Once again, no specific titles or individuals have to be an authorizing official. Like, it doesn't have to be a principal or vice principal. It can be anybody at that school that you need to gain access or give authority to. Okay. And then the last level is report only users. Now, these people can only manage their own account. They can only manage the TAP or FAFSA reports. They cannot designate other users that can just generate reports. Now, each person or each individual can only have one level of access. So they're either a CAO, an authorizing official, or report only user. They can't be all three. They can only be one of those people. Now, all levels of access, the chief authorizing official, and report only users can generate reports for the school or school district that they are authorized for. So if you were to, oh, can I have reports from a chief authorizing official? Yes, you can report for the entire district if that's what you're authorized for. Authorized officials report only users as well. So anybody can run a report, but only certain people can set up accounts. There's no number limit. It can be you gotta give every teacher access to this, right? There's no limit to who can be a report only user for your school or school district. Now, I'm gonna talk through a little bit of how to establish these accounts, and then I'll talk about what data you can receive from these accounts. All right. So when we're setting up a user account, the chief authorizing official or the authorizing official will log into a HESC account, and I'll give you that link in a little bit. And then they will click the general functions tab. Once they get there, they're going to submit the EFAN application tab, and that will open up this page. At this page, you're going to enter the last name of the individual they're wishing to bring in. So, for instance, there's a counselor that is transferring from, let's say, I don't know, Mahadassin School District over to Cahol School District. All right, you're going to go in and put that counselor's name into the system. We're gonna look for if there's an account already for this individual. So once you put in their first and last name, you're gonna hit view. When you hit view, it's gonna open up a page that can bring any search result for that individual. So we typed in the last name Smith, and John Smith is the one that populated. That's not who we're looking for. If it was, we would hit that radio button, and then we hit the continue button, and then we're able to bring that user from wherever school district they were to our school district or school. Since that's not who we're looking for, we're actually going to go ahead and go to the new user function, right there on the bottom is the new user function. You'll click new user and be able to add somebody else to that school or school district because we couldn't find them. So let's go through that process now. When you hit that button, it's going to populate the screen to submit an EFAN application for this new user. You need to know their first name and last name and enter that in there. And then it's going to ask about the authorizing official. So you're already logged in, so it already has your information there. So for this, I'm gonna be Mike Jones. And then you'll add whatever email you want to get correspondence about this application with. So they can click whatever radio button they want for the email address. The next phase of this is going to be adding authorizations. So I mentioned the user will only be able to run reports or add users for whatever school or school district institution they have access for. So for this person, we're going to add them to New York City Geographic School District 8, okay, and hit add authorization, right? Now, when we do that, it's going to populate a page to ask more information about that person's role. So you add that person's role. It could be principal, vice principal, counselor, teacher, whatever it may be. You enter that role there. They're going to enter their email address, which is where they get correspondence to go in and sign their portion of the application, sign their agreement, and go forward. You also going to enter their level of access. Okay, so once again, chief authorizing officials can only designate authorizing officials and report only reports and forms. Authorizing officials can only designate people to access reports and forms. Okay, so make sure they understand that. The effective date, you can put one in. So if you know somebody's coming in a week and a half, you can put the effective date for a week and a half from now. Or if you don't know or you forget to put this in, the effective date will be wherever we see that application. Okay. And then you just hit continue. So from here, we can see now that we've added um, a person, an institution, right? The role is a vice principal. There are reports and forms only user, and there the authorizing level of authorizing level is authorizing official. Okay, so you can edit that if you want to. If something's wrong with that, you can edit that. And if you want to continue to add more more layers of authorization, you continue to add that by adding more authorization at the bottom. Okay, so you can see that there. Once we're done with this, we're happy with what we have. All right, we can hit submit and then move forward with this application. So once you hit submit, once you hit submit, you'll see us EFAN application has been successfully submitted at the top of the page, and then an application ID. You can write that down because if you want to get more information on the status of that, you could either go to the view EFAN applications portion of this page. I'll show you that in a second and view the account status, or you can call the help desk and provide that application ID. Either way you do it, you're going to enter that first and last name of the person and their application ID to help find them easier. So let's talk about that. Right under submit the EFAN is the view EFAN applications. That's where you can see all your EFAN applications and their processing status. When you hit that button, it's going to populate a search menu where you can search for the applicant, their name, and the application ID is there as well, and hit view. Now, hopefully, there you go. Andrea Smith is right there. That's who we just entered. And we can now click that radio button and review what's going on with that user's account. Oh, we're back and forth. There we go. So when we hit that view button, it's going to populate where they are, the whole application, and then when it was submitted to HESC and its current processing status at the bottom, right? So right now it's pending user signature, right? So we're waiting for that. Once we get that, we can move forward with the application and getting their account set up. Okay. So that is the gist of getting set up with the FAFSA completion initiative, how to get people in there, how to get your CAO done. Once again, if you have questions about am I signed up, you can find that on our website, or you can send that email out to figure out if you're signed up. If your CAO is missing, you can email that email address and get information about who your CAO was or is, and then some designation forms sent out if you already have an agreement to get the process moving and rolling. All right. Now let's talk about how to run reports because that's what you all want, right? You want to know what data is there, how can I get it, and how do I use that? So you're going to access the reports by going to our HESC website. So under the school counselors, so if you go to our HESC website, right up top it says for academic partners. You're gonna click that little tab, and it's gonna hit high school counselors. That will populate a high school counselor page. You'll find the FAFSA completion initiative there. Okay, there you'll be able to hit at the bottom of that page, log in for customized reports. There's also a direct link to this page right here at the top of this presentation. Once you get this presentation downloaded, you can click that link and bookmark it so you have it there forever and don't have to worry about trying to find it on the HESC website. All right, but it's there for your access. Now, for report only users, they're only going to have that tab, right? Report only users won't have as many tabs as other user authorizations. So, based on what your authorization level is, you'll have more or less tabs up top. Everybody should have the report tab. When you hit that report tab, you're going to enter those report parameters. So the things that you'll need are the NCES school code that you're looking at, the academic year. So for your students, seniors this year will be 25-26 academic year, right? So we're looking at fall of 25 is when those seniors will be going to school. So that's the academic year we're looking at to find the completion status of. And then the sort order is automatically last name first and then first name. But if you want to switch that, you're more than welcome to. These reports populate in two different ways. They can populate as a PDF document, or for some of you that maybe have bigger schools and want to use pivot tables in Excel. Some people love those pivot tables. They can hit spreadsheet and get an Excel format, and they'll be able to divvy out or use formulas or whatever they want to organize the data that's received from the FAFSA completion initiative. All right. The first page of that report will populate um, a key on how to read the data in the fast completion initiative. So if on certain columns you'll see the status, if it's a 1 for FAFSA, you really won't see that as much this year. Okay, why? Because that means that the student has submitted their application, but it's missing parent signatures. Now, this year that's impossible. Why? Because students need to have all signatures and contributor information in before the application can even be submitted. So you'll see when you walk through a FAFSA with a student that when the student's done with their portion, it'll have a sign button that they'll click a radio button and then click sign, and that's it because they aren't able to submit that application until all the contributors have entered their information in. So then the contributor have to go in and do their information. Once they're done, that last button will say sign and submit. So you won't see one as much. What you might see for students that are missing signatures are you might see students that will come in and say, "Well, I did my FAFSA like 2 weeks ago. Why does it not say submitted under the submitted column?" Those students might be those students that they did their portion, but the contributors have not yet. And those students you have to send back to the contributor to say, "Hey, did you fill out that? Did you click the link and go through it?" And making sure they click the link and log into their student.gov account and not the students. We saw that a lot last year where parents were logging in under their student.gov account and trying to sign, it won't accept it. All right. So that's what you might see. Now for TAP, you may see this. For TAP, students can elect to sign a paper signature page or give their parents a student signature paper signature page. So you may see students with TAP that have submitted the TAP application, but it's missing parent signatures because they haven't sent them into us yet or they haven't been reviewed yet. All right. Now, key code number 2 is what we all want to see. That means that the fastest process with an SAI, EFC is gone, with the SAI, or the TAP is processed and eligibility is determined. That means the student has completed their obligation, their FAFSA is submitted, their TAP is submitted, and they are good to go. Way to go, good job. Now, the last one is the one that you may need to refer students to us for. Or if you see a code 3, that means the FAFSA has processed with errors or TAP has processed with errors, which means they may be in a status where something isn't connecting right, they need missing information, censorship may not be able to be verified, income may not be able to be verified. There's a whole host of different error statuses that we have at TAP and FAFSA that you won't know by this report, right? But what you can do is ask a student to come in and say, "Hey, there's a report, there's an error in your account. Would you like to log in so I can review it with you to see what's going on with it, or refer them to us for more help?" Okay. So when you populate the report, it's gonna look like this. Now these names are obviously fake; they're not real. They're just for this presentation. But you'll see the students' names as we asked: last name, first name, their date of birth, zip code, school code, and then the FAFSA submission date and FAFSA process date. Once again, those students that may be missing their parents' information, they may have signed their portion, but they may have a submitted date that's blank because their parents haven't gone through and done their part, or contributor hasn't done their part. You'll see a FAFSA process column to know that the FAFSA is processed, and then you'll see the completion status. A lot of code twos here, which is a great sign that they've done what they've had to do. A lot of students completed their FAFSA. You will see this a lot too, where students have completed the FAFSA, but because the FAFSA and TAP are delayed. So if a student enters their FAFSA information today and then the contributor does their stuff tonight, unless they go through that link that is right after the FAFSA, they're gonna have to wait about 3 to 5 business days for us to get that information to start the TAP application because the TAP is requiring the FAFSA this year. In order for a student to complete the TAP, they have to have their FAFSA in. Okay. So you may see where a student has submitted their FAFSA, but the TAP hasn't been submitted yet. Encourage those students to go in and complete the TAP application. We do send email reminders every, I think, 14 of, I think it's every 14 days saying, "Hey, we have a FAFSA file on file for you, but you haven't done the TAP yet. Get up in here and do the TAP." We send email reminders out, but it gets lost in the shuffle, just like everything else. All these email students get. So make sure that you're entering some of that as well and helping out with that. And then you'll see the status date, the status there, whether it's 2, they're good to go, 3 processing errors, or 1 missing signature pages. Now, for all those errors, we have some options for you, right? Once again, we recognize that you guys aren't experts in FAFSA and TAP. Some of you may be versed in it. You may have kids in college and have gone through it and can help students easily. Some of you may not. So there's some options and ways to help students. One is meetings, right? So if you guys are versed in the FAFSA or you have had the time to go through all of our trainings and are feeling comfortable with helping students with the FAFSA and TAP, have those one-on-one sessions with them for 20, 30 minutes to figure out where they are in the application, what's wrong, or to walk through certain aspects of it, whether it's creating a student.gov account, creating a HESC pin, or walk into the actual application with students. We do have some resources on hand that I'll show you in a minute that will help you as well. Okay. Another option is drop-in events. So HESC does weekly drop-in events. These are Zoom calls where students can enter a room one-on-one with a HESC professional or HESC staff and get them some help with their application. So if a student is processing with errors, we can help have that student log into their account and look at their application and tell them what errors may be on that application that they're missing, and then tell them how to correct those errors. Okay. Be reminded though, one thing we cannot do is actually go into the system and look up the account, right? We're not able to look up accounts on those calls, like on the backside of the web. But we are able to walk with that student through their FAFSA or TAP application when they log in. They can share the screen with us, and then we can walk through that with them a little bit. Okay, those fill up fast. We're only 2 hours, and there's probably about 3 or 4 of us on those calls. So sometimes we lock those meetings because we're not able to help all the students in the call. So make students aware they want to get in quickly because those meetings do fill up really fast. Okay. Uh, and we have FAFSA events, FAFSA and TAP completion events. These are great for students that just don't know how to fill out the FAFSA, aren't confident in that, don't know how to fill out the TAP. They can, once again, it's a Zoom link that we have on our events page. You can see a link to the events page there. Or you can go to HESC.ny.gov, click get help and find an event. There, you will get our whole event calendar with our completion events. These will happen monthly or bi-monthly, depending on the time of year and the flow of applications and where students are. But this is what we have college staff. We partner with U Aspire. We partner with Student CUNY. We partner with community partners like New Visions. And we go through applications with students one-on-one. So that's where we have about 20 to 25 FAFSA and financial aid professionals, HES staff, college staff, FAFSA coaches that are on Zoom that will go one-on-one to breakout room, students and their parents, and fill out the TAP application or FAFSA from start to finish and get it in. Okay. So we have those opportunities available for students. You can refer them to that. You can have maybe the next FAFSA completion date on hand and be able to give that to students as they're coming to your office asking for help. Hey, sign up for this event. Go to this link, sign up for this event. They'll walk through it with you one-on-one. It'll take 20, 30 minutes. All right. Those are done by appointment. So we have appointments, I think it goes from these are at night. So they go from 4 to 6, right? So we do the 4 to 6 at night. So students get on, make an appointment between 4 to 4:30, 4:30 to 5, 5 to 5:30, 5:30 to 6, and then walk through the application with a professional. We have some more counselor resources for you. So our counselor newsletter, if you're not a part of that, please look out for that. It comes out monthly. These have up-to-date information. They have trainings that are available for counselors. I think one's going out either later on today or if it's not out already or early tomorrow. So look out for that. If you're not signed up for that, head to that high school counselors portion of our site under for academic partners, and there's a sign up button for the counselor newsletter. Up-to-date trainings, up-to-date informations, see what's coming available to you to help students. Something that we're working on with our grants and scholarship department, which handles the TAP application, are counselor drop-ins. Well, you guys will have weekly drop-in events to ask those questions that are coming up that you're seeing often on applications that you need help with from our HES staff, really about the TAP application. And the really big thing that we have for you guys is the FAFSA Ready training page. Right, so you may have found it already, but that page has become the go-to site for financial aid training for New York State. Right, we made it with you in mind. We made it so that you can access it at any time with live trainings to get questions answered, with recordings just in case you can't get to it during your school day. We have opportunity for you to watch it elsewhere. We are creating videos by the day, right? Well, about a month, but we're working on it. But we are adding videos on things like how to upload a document. You have a student that has to upload um, tax information or independence information for those students that are maybe at risk of homelessness. Um, they have to upload certain documentation for students whose parents are divorced. We have a video that walks through how to upload a document. One of the biggest things that students miss on the tab is those parent signature pages. They miss it, they can't e-sign for some reason, something's wrong, and they'll, mess it up. We have a resource document for you guys on how to get a missing signature page done, right? Where to find that new form, how to upload it, right? We have that information on the Fast Ready training page. We have a growing FAQ section on the FAFSA Ready page where as you guys ask questions in these seminars and trainings, we update that training, that resource to have all those questions that everybody's been asking on the site that you can go to at any point in time, right? Downloadable resources and these seminars recordings will be on that site as well, right? So we have a bunch of, so if you haven't done it yet, head to FAFSA Ready Training. It's also under the High School Counselors tab on the For Academic Partners. You'll see FAFSA Ready Training Program and be able to access all the information, all the downloadable resources there as well. Now let's open it up to any question that you guys have about FAFSA Completion Initiative, FAFSA TAP, anything like that. You guys are more than welcome to put that in the Q&A panel. I just unlocked the microphone, so if you guys are able to come off mute, you want to raise your hand, you can go ahead and do it, or just come off of mute and ask any question that you guys have. You guys go ahead and go for it.